Thank you, Tracy. Thank you so much for joining this conversation with me. And I think if you just give a little introduction about yourself, just so the listeners know who exactly you are and why I'm talking to you about this particular podcast.
Thanks, Prax. So my name's Tracey Lancaster. I'm Deputy Vice Chancellor for the university with responsibility for resources. So that covers all of, if you like, the non-academic side of the organisation, so IT, finance, including external relations. So that's why I think we're talking today, because I have that kind of oversight of how we communicate out with the general public as an organisation, and how we present ourselves and build our reputation, both as a university, but really importantly, as an anchor institution within the City of Leeds.
So, because today we are talking more about the art and culture part of it, and as you mentioned, that you do oversee the external relations as well. So, I would like to talk about the partnership that the university has with Leeds 2023, because that's a big event for Leeds this year and for the university as well. So, can you like shed a little bit of light and just explain a bit about what the partnership is all about?
So the partnership actually goes back quite a long time. The partnership started at the point at which the city was putting in for European Capital of Culture. Um, and Leeds was building a really compelling story about itself in order to be able to secure European Union funding for as a bid to sort of take that position. However, all of that was happening around the same time as Brexit, and unfortunately, we never really got the opportunity to present that case to the European Union. However, in a very typical Leeds way, there was a real groundswell of opinion that actually it was really worthwhile the city still doing everything that it had kind of anticipated it was going to do if it was successful as a capital of culture. And because the university had been an integral part of that initial bid, there was a real commitment by the university to maintain a role within that overarching programme of work. The approach that 2023 has taken, I think, has been quite innovative in terms of its approach to really animating a city for an extended period of time, because what they've done is combined activities that are happening across the city anyway. So, for example, I'm involved in the Business Improvement District, and the Business Improvement District holds a number of different events over the course of the year. So those events are incorporated into the 2023 programme. They would have happened anyway, but if you position them within that wider programme of work, then you can start to see a whole year of activity that also includes some especially commissioned work for 2023 as well. So it's this coming together of the existing art and cultural activity within the city, which is then enhanced by additional activities that are especially commissioned to be by the 2023 initiative. And we have events. The university has events that are both or would already have happened as part of our cycle of arts and cultural activity, as well as some that are specially commissioned.
So, what are some of these activities that where the university plays a big role?
So there are two sort of specific areas in particular. The one is there's an installation in City Square that's been planned, which is an interpretation of a city forest, and our academics and students are involved in the design and construction of that. I mean, that it is not without its challenges, that project, but that's as part of the reimagining of City Square. And the fact that the removal of transport from that part of the city, and how important that is as part of the sort of the alleviation of pollution in the centre of the city. As part of that initiative, this installation of a representation of a city forest is also part of that reimagining of City Square itself. So that, if you like, is a specific project which has been promoted by 2023. So that's part of the curated work, if you like, by 2023. Then in addition to that, we have three academics within our Leeds School of Arts. Each of them have been made professors over the course of the recent past. And when you're made a professor, you are expected to give an inaugural lecture, and your inaugural lecture is intended to be something that makes your work accessible to the general public. So they are usually public events, and it's an opportunity for both the academic community to welcome that new professor into the community, but also for us for the work of that professor to be generally understood in terms of its impact in a more general setting. And we happen to have three colleagues from within the School of Arts who were all made professors at a similar time. So Matty Boven, whose specialism is fashion, and then we had two other professors whose specialisms are music, and each of them are not only undertaking their sort of, or presenting their inaugural lecture, but that also involves activity as well. So most recently, Sue Miller, who's interested in charanga music from South America, she gave her inaugural lecture, but that also included a public performance as well from her band that play this charanga music. So she was able to position that work within a social context, but then also we were able to experience the music that she and her band, her musician colleagues produce. So that was a really good example of something that would have happened within the context of the university year anyway, for those inaugural lectures, but was amplified, if you like, by the fact that 2023 was taking place, and we were able to incorporate that performance element in there as well.
So, in terms of the wider impact on the student body as a whole, because of course they are one of the main stakeholders of the university. So, in what ways will this impact the student body? Because a year is a long time, but a significant portion of the year is also vacation time.
Yeah.
So, like overall, what would the impact on the students be and their involvement in the entire thing?
So a really good example of that then is one of the other inaugural lectures that is centred around the work of Matty Boven and his colleagues within the fashion department. So Matty is the reason that Matty's engagement is really important, working alongside our really talented academic colleagues, is that Matty's background is that he is a working designer. So he lectures, and at the same time he is also developing collections that he then shows at all the sort of the international fashion shows. So he was in Milan, for example, at the Milan Fashion Show at last autumn. So Matty's a really good example of many of our colleagues within the university where they combine a practical career with being a practicing academic as well. And apparently there's a new term for this, which is pracademics, which I didn't know about, but I learnt this week. So there you go.
I learned right now.
So it's now part of the lexicon. Um, so we have many academics within the institution that combine that sort of work and lecturing, which I think is really important, because it means that the experience the student has in the classroom is really current. So it's taking that whatever's happening in the industry or business in which that academic is maintains a practitioner's interest, is brought straight into the classroom, and so the students are learning right at the cutting edge. But it means that it also gives them that ease of transition then from education into work, which is also another really important element for us. However, in addition to that, again, so taking Matty's experience as an example, part of Matty's inaugural lecture, if you like, was a fashion show that took place in the heart of the Trinity Centre 2 weeks ago. And I mean, it was an absolutely stunning day, beautiful sunny day, sort of the sun was streaming in through the atrium of Trinity Centre. We had one of the runways between on the second level, so between two parts of the centre, and you could both see student work being presented on professional models and being shot in that location. And that was then exposed to the general public. So the general public were going about their business, they were stopping, they were watching, they were able to see the whole kind of start to finish process there of the of the whole range of collections that have been produced by the students. So great exposure for the students' work in a very, very accessible setting. So
Yeah.
that was really important as well, that you take that from being something that is high end and exclusive and set apart from your day-to-day experience, to locating it, to maintaining all of those quality standards, but putting it in a really, really accessible context. So for the students themselves, that gave them fantastic exposure and experience of putting together a fashion shoot with the input of people who are currently practitioners in that area as well. So that was a really good example of the way in which they were that the involvement with 2023 was benefiting the students themselves, because that then builds into their final show. And then it's worth just adding into that, of course, that the end of year show for our art students is also going to be part of our 2023 contribution as well. So that exhibition of final year work is also going to be part of the 2023 experience.
So in terms of the external comms, if we talk about the PR and external comms, have you been taking any specific measures or any particular strategy, keeping in mind only the activities related to 2023?
So yes, I mean we have a really skilled marketing communications team, and so they are integrating um, messaging about 2023 into what we would normally be releasing out into media anyway. So that'll be coming through both our internal comms, but also going out through our external comms as well, and working very closely with 2023 on making sure that we've got join up there as well. So going out through multiple channels and to multiple audiences to make sure that the work that we're contributing towards 2023 is both seen as the product of the university, but is also seen as a contribution to 2023 as well.
Anything in specific, like the one of the things that I've seen on the university campus is the computers. They have the screensavers with the Leeds 2023 500,000 moments of culture, and
Yeah.
just a really catchy screensaver. Of course, that is directed towards the students, but anything that is like someone who's not looking at the computers but who's still a part of the university.
I probably can't give you the detail on that one. It's probably better to talk to colleagues actually within the external relations team. But it is something where they have worked really and continue to work. As you said earlier on, you know, a year is a long time to be maintaining that sort of continual drumbeat in terms of reminding people about 2023, and making sure that it keeps, so rather than it being something that is a constant so that people lose sight of it and it just becomes part of the wallpaper, that actually you've got moments where you elevate the sort of the noise around 2023. So the next sequence in the 2023 journey, because they've sort of separated it out into different phases, is playing. And again, there's a big event planned for the launch of the next phase of 2023 to re-engage the general public with the 2023 message, and obviously we'll be playing our part as part of that as well. I mean, it's quite helpful that they've kind of reimagined 2023 to include sport as well. So it's arts, culture, and sport, and actually all of the varsity activity falls into the next phase of the 2023 activity. So it will incorporate all of the sort of the sporting competitions that make up the varsity competition between ourselves and Leeds University. So that will all be incorporated as well. it's good timing.
Yeah, actually, I've been seeing some communication about that on my email as well and on social media
Yeah.
also. I think that's something on 4th of May, I think at Headingley.
Yes,
Primary.
3rd of May.
3rd of
Yeah,
May. Okay.
is where it all comes to a grand conclusion, where all of the sort of the results from all of the different matches that are played all come to a conclusion in a rugby match.
So Tracy, I was doing a bit of digging on art and culture festivals and activities like this, and I realized that volunteers and students and sometimes interns play a huge
Yeah.
part in these. And then I went and looked up Leeds 2023 as well because that's the primary subject of this podcast. So and I realized that the volunteering is a huge part of the festival, let's call it a festival. Uh, so, do are any of the students from the university volunteering, and if so, like, are they happy to do it, and why exactly are they volunteering their free time?
Um, well, I mean, you'd have to ask them really, but I mean, yes, that is something that is a big part of not just 2023, but I mean, you'll be aware of the International Festival Ideas, Leeds International Festival of Ideas, LIFI, that happens in September, October time. And again, that's incorporated. That's something that's driven by the Business Improvement District, but it's something in which we have a lot of involvement as well as a university, primarily because it provides opportunities for our own students, not only from an events background, but all sorts of different courses to be able to be part of the workforce that make that festival happen. And I think, again, it just feeds into our position and our mission as a university to combine that high quality education with practical experience so that you can continually reflect on what you have learned in an active context. Um, and so yes, that opportunity to engage in a number of different ways isn't just part of how we engage with 2023, but we've also been having discussions with Leeds United, for example, about ways in which we can identify opportunities for our own students to be able to either volunteer or to take placements and be part of the business, if you like, of Leeds United. And again, it's giving students from a range of different backgrounds that opportunity to engage in an active learning setting. And one of the areas actually they were interested in is social media, that being able to have people that are highly social media active in order to be able to support them in that as well. However, it is something that goes through the way in which we run the organisation on a year in, year out basis. So when we are looking for, when we are identifying contractors who are providing services to the university, part of our requirements when we're selecting tenders is that we identify either placement or other work type experiential learning opportunities for our students. That is part of what we do on a day-to-day basis through our procurement team in the university, and has been for some time. So we're always working with colleagues in business engagement, and Mark Stowe and his team. We're always looking for those opportunities where we can knit in that educational learning with experiential learning as well. So looking for many, many different opportunities across the whole range of our subject areas to get our students out there and learning and working, so that they are able to make that smooth transition then into employment at the end of their study.
So, if you had to summarize what this partnership with Leeds 2023, like what the university and the students can get out of this partnership, like in a very short manner, how what would you say?
I think that's, yeah, okay. Elevator pitch. So I think that the partnership with 2023 provides a fantastic opportunity to raise the profile of Leeds on the international stage. And actually that benefits everybody. That raises the profile of the university. It raises the profile of our students and graduates, and that's hugely positive. But I think it also gives our students and the university the opportunity both to participate actively in something that is really groundbreaking, I think, in the way in which 2023 has been conceptualized. It gives them the opportunity to be able to really um, build their CVs, build their experience, build their knowledge for the future, but also gives us a fantastic opportunity to show to the city, to the region, to the country what Leeds Beckett does and just how skilled and wide ranging our students are.
Yeah, actually, that's the what you mentioned about the exposure for Leeds and the university. Being an international student myself, I've actually had to explain to people back home because they don't know Leeds. They
Yeah,
know London, they know Manchester, they know Birmingham, but not many people know Leeds. Although there are so many international students coming here, so I'm
yeah,
sure that. Stuff like this, if it gets, especially through social media and now it being a everything being global, it's definitely like it makes sense that it would happen that way, that it would get global exposure for the city
exactly.
as well as the university.
Exactly,
uh,
I agree.
so thank you so much, Tracy, for answering my questions and letting me pick your brain about my assessment and my podcast as well. And yeah, thank you so much.
It's been a real pleasure and I wish you every success.